any fatigue or okay.
Okay, so we're on.
Yeah.
Are we good to go?
Yes.
Should I wait on Vasundhara ma'am to confirm?
She'll confirm you on your, I think, on your mobile.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I have with us the guest speaker today. His name is Rajesh Gupta. And
Hello, everybody.
And he's super inspirational to me, especially because he's been on dialysis for 25 years. And I've only been on it for 6 years. So for me, he's a legend, somebody who goes through difficulties every alternate day of his life. So let's start. Hi, Rajesh. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your story before I start asking more questions? How did it happen?
Hello, Ali.
When did it start? Thank you.
Hello, Ali. My dialysis started in 1996 when I was a boy of 25 years.
Okay.
And I was whenever my doctors first knew about my CKD, they immediately put me on dialysis.
Okay.
96 November. And being on dialysis, we tried many therapies, but finally in November 97, I got a transplant done. My mother gave me a kidney, live donor.
Okay.
And it lasted for say around 2.5 years.
Right.
And again on 2000, January 2000, somehow I was back on dialysis. That graft kidney failed and I was back on dialysis. Since then, I'm on dialysis every alternate day, thrice weekly, and looking for good technologies, good dialysis centers. I've been, by God's grace, the dialysis centers are in Delhi, they are available. But now I've seen dialysis centers across India, like not the expensive ones. Even the government is supporting so much that 970 centers as of now, as per the census.
Rajesh, we've lost you. Hi, Rajesh. Sorry, guys. I think we've lost Rajesh. He'll have to re-log in. Can you give us a minute, please? We're in the process of getting Rajesh back. Hi Rajesh, are you back? Sorry for the trouble, guys. I guess Rajesh is having little issues with his network. Should we stop the recording, ma'am, and we go live after a bit when he's back on?
What to do? I don't know.
He's not able to connect only, ma'am. So I guess let him join, and then you can go live again.
Yeah. Marianne,
Yes.
what do we do?
We'll wait for Rajesh to rejoin back.
Mm,
Um, until then, we'll wait on this call.
Okay.
But in the meantime, for those of you listening or watching us and you already joined us on Facebook, I think it'll be very interesting to kind of get your queries in so that we'll actually consolidate some questions so that Ali will be able to post it on your behalf to Mr. Rajesh. Ali, are you there?
He's come.
Hi, Ali.
Yo,
I know.
yo.
Okay, we have Mr. Rajesh joining us.
Cool. Welcome back, Rajesh. Rajesh, your audio is not on. Still can't hear you, Rajesh.
Now can you hear me, Ali?
Yes, yes, I can hear you now. Welcome back.
Sorry for the technical glitch.
No, no problem, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so just for our viewers, could you just tell us again? You said you were on dialysis you got your transplant done, and then after 2.5 years, the graft failed, right?
Yeah. So after January 2000, I'm on dialysis now, continuously for say whatever time, and during those days, I've got one heart attack also,
Okay.
CAD, like that is a coronary artery disease, and I have got 2 stents done, and one episode of my parathyroid removal. Parathyroid gland removal.
Okay.
My PTH has gone up to say around 2600.
Okay. All right.
Now my PTH has settled down to say 600 or 700, and my doctor say we are comfortable with 700, no problems.
Okay. So, so Rajesh, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take a little step by step of your life. So, can you tell us about your day? How do you start your day? What time of the day do you do dialysis?
dialysis days, I get up at say around 5 and do my daily routine and go to my dialysis. At around 7, I reach my dialysis center.
Okay.
And by 11:30, I leave my dialysis center.
Okay.
And come back to my office.
Okay. So after dialysis, you go back to office.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you on every day post dialysis, you go back to work and then you come home.
Yeah. Okay. I'm supporting this whatever amount I'm spending on dialysis, but I'm not a person who is born with a silver spoon. So I have to work.
Correct.
To be able to support my dialysis.
Absolutely, because as we all know, it is quite heavy financially as well.
Yes.
Dialysis does not come cheap. Good quality dialysis.
Good quality dialysis. You have to work hard.
Okay. So, and just to confirm, Rajesh, do you do dialysis 4 times a week or 3 times a week?
I do it 3 times a week, 4 hours. Total say around 12 hours. But sometimes, as my doctor suggests, you can do alternate like 4 dialysis also. Sometimes I am also taking 14 hours of dialysis in a week.
Okay. So just for our viewers, Rajesh, in your opinion, is it good to shorten your dialysis sessions? Do you ever take lesser steps?
No, not at all. If you are on dialysis, you need to understand dialysis is a mechanism which is to remove this toxicity. Toxicity is not only urea and creatinine. Toxicity is also the potassium levels, phosphorus levels, sodium level, and all calcium and all. They need to be balanced. Other than fluid removal, people think fluid removal is the only function that dialysis is doing. No. And they're skipping dialysis when they're not accumulating fluid. That is just very wrong.
That's a very important point. It's not only about the accumulation of fluid, it's also about cleansing of the blood that you're talking about that happens during every dialysis.
And with continuous 3 times dialysis, say my creatinine level after interdialytic creatinine level is say 8. And if I am able to maintain it at 5, that my graph comes down, toxicity in my body comes down. With HDF, my creatinine level is 4 now. So this gives me a longevity of life.
Correct. Okay, another question I have to Rajesh is most people after dialysis, they feel quite tired. So what is your state of mind? How are you able to cope and go to work after dialysis? What do you do differently?
No, what I feel is if you are getting under dialyzed, then you will feel all sorts of problems. If you're going 2 days in a week dialysis or 1 day in a week dialysis, or you're going when I'll have a short breath, then only I'll go to dialysis, then you will feel all sorts of problems. If you are getting 3 times dialysis, there are other patients in my dialysis center, they're doing extremely good. People are doing dialysis for 16 years, 17 years. I've seen patients, they're doing dialysis for 10 years and doing excellent. They're coming from home, no problems, going back home, absolutely not a problem. But they're doing thrice weekly dialysis. They are doing adequate dialysis, good diet, high protein diet, and a good center.
So before we go to that second point of yours about the high protein diet, I just want to summarize what you said. So you're saying that if you do not skip your dialysis sessions, you do your 12 hours a week of dialysis, if not a little more, you should not have any issues. It should be all good.
Yes.
So skipping dialysis is where the problem happens.
The term is adequate dialysis. If you are having adequate dialysis as per the requirement of your body, you'll not have any problem.
All right, that's amazing. That's amazing, Rajesh. So now let's go to your second point. You mentioned high protein diet. Can you tell us what do you eat? How many times a day do you eat? What is your diet like?
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian, but I take eggs. I take eggs.
Okay.
It's not a problem with the non-vegetarian people. They can have fish, they can have chicken, which are really good in
Okay.
protein, high on protein.
Okay.
But yes, it's a big problem with the vegetarian people. But yes, we can have pulses which are good in protein. And
Okay.
animal protein is a very good source of protein.
Hmm.
So I have paneer and egg whites.
Okay. So
So
how many egg whites do you have per day?
I have 3 egg whites per day
All right.
and 100 grams of paneer once in a day.
Okay. Okay.
Whenever, if you like it in breakfast, if you like it with your lunch, if you like it when you like munching even, you can have 100 grams of paneer, no issues on that.
Okay. Okay. So
Just
if I sorry, if I was to ask you to suggest one dietary tip for the dialysis patient, what would that be? What would you suggest that is most important for a dialysis patient?
go as per your likings.
Okay.
Have paneer. Paneer is one very good source of protein. Egg whites is very good source of protein. Have everything in moderation. If your potassium levels are okay, fine, then you can have half of orange also.
Okay.
No issue. If you are having good, but a diabetic patient cannot have a laddu.
Correct.
I have laddu because I am not diabetic.
Correct.
So you need to understand your parameters and
Correct.
adjust your diet accordingly.
Correct. Correct.
And if you are high on potassium also, you can have, if you like oranges or some particular fruit, you can take it with yourself to dialysis. In the first hour of dialysis, you can have half of the orange or whatever fruit you like, not an issue. And whatever I am saying, please verify it with your doctor. Doctor is the best judge. I am nothing. It's just my experience.
Correct.
Rectify.
Verified. Yes. So from what I got from what you said is, Rajesh, one is everybody's body is also different, you know. So you must understand how your body reacts, and then accordingly taper your diet, and also check with your dietitian, check with your doctor, and basically
Obviously.
do everything in moderation. Right?
Yes.
I have another question, diet related, Rajesh. Now, you know, when our own kidneys are working, they restrict the salt content for us tremendously. Now that we're on dialysis, do you have any salt restrictions? Do you?
No, I don't have any salt restrictions because my BP is under control. If my BP behaves improperly or misbehaves, I will have all sorts of restrictions.
Okay.
But yes, if my BP is behaving properly, I am not having any salt restrictions.
But your BP is under control because you follow a strict diet. Is that the main reason?
No, some medication also.
Okay, so you're controlling it with medication. All right, all right. So you're also keeping it under control with the right medication.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's lovely. I was going to ask you, Rajesh. You said you eat paneer, but doesn't paneer raise your potassium or phosphorus levels?
No, paneer is not high on potassium.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay. So I think we've covered a little bit of your diet, of your daily routine. I want to touch a subject before we get to the most important one, which is fluid restriction. I want to ask you, how is your spiritual life? How do you tackle what are your thoughts on, you know, why do you have dialysis, and how do you deal with the day-to-day, I wouldn't say suffering, but the day-to-day difficulties of dialysis, you know, so that you can help people who think that life is so tough, it's such a difficult life for me, who've just started dialysis, but here you are 25 years on dialysis. So what is your state of mind? How are you so positive? Can you throw some light on that?
If you want to, like, this is a state of your affairs given to you by your God. So okay, God has provided me, like, जही विधि राखे राम ते ही विधि रही है.
Okay, you're
अब
going to have to
जैसे
explain. You're going to have to explain that to me.
जिस विधि राम ने रखा है हमें, या जो स्टेट हमें राम ने दिया है, भगवान ने दिया है, अब हमें उसमें रहना है. ठीक है,
Correct.
भगवान ने हमें डिजीज दिया है, ओके,
Hmm.
इसको भी हैप्पीली एक्सेप्ट करना है हमें.
Okay, I think that is okay. Please continue. I think that is a very, very important point. One, that you have accepted it. You're not trying to
Yes.
fight it. You have accepted it. Okay.
You need to accept, you need to understand, now with this disease, dialysis is very important for my survival.
Correct.
I don't have to run from dialysis. मेरे को dialysis से डरना नहीं है.
Absolutely
Dialysis
correct.
is there to remove toxicity and fluid from my body, which my
Correct.
kidneys are not doing.
Correct. Correct. So it's actually good
So
for your body.
it has to be done scientifically. Why the doctors are suggesting dialysis?
Hmm.
Because it is beneficial for me,
Correct.
and I have to get it done adequately at a
Correct.
good center.
Correct.
And like you have to accept dialysis. नहीं, ये मेरे लिए अच्छा है और ये मेरे को कराना है, and I don't have to miss
Correct.
dialysis. Religiously, you have to do it.
From what you said, Rajesh, I think one of the most important words is acceptance.
Yeah.
When you start accepting that these are the cards that you're dealt, this is your life, and you start accepting it, that's when things become easier.
Yeah.
It's when you don't accept is when, you know, you're.
Yes. Now it's clear. You're able to hear me?
I can hear you, Rajesh. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Rajesh, now I'm going to come to one of the most important points of a dialysis patient is the fluid restriction. Okay. I want you to, can you hear me, Rajesh?
Yes.
Okay. So Rajesh, please tell the viewers and tell people who are listening in as to how do you cope with fluid restriction? Because I'll give you my example. Even though I drink close to 1.5 liters a day, we're allowed only 800 ml to 1 liter. But even though I drink a little more, I am constantly thinking of water. I'm thinking of chai. I'm thinking of coffee. You know,
Yes.
so you've been on it for 25 years. Do you have any secret tips? How do you deal with the body's and the mind's urge to drink water, to drink fluid?
Like, this is a natural phenomena. Whatever thing is restricted for you, your body urges for that. Diabetic को रसगुल्ला मीठा बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
Absolutely. Yes.
और हमें whatever we do, we are thinking of water. We are thinking of something like अभी मेरे को cold drink मिल जाए.
Yes.
Like, can I have tea with you?
Yes.
But
yes.
But yes, we have to restrict. Very strictly, we have to restrict ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm coming from sun, like directly from sun, and I'm sweating badly, I'll keep quiet, sit for 10 minutes, cool down. Then only I'll have one sip of water. Okay. So fluid restriction is one thing we have to keep very, very strictly. Yes, it's a very difficult issue, but yes, we have to follow fluid restrictions. And if we are doing, say, as you said, 1.5 liter, 2 liters, but we need to bring it down.
Correct.
Yes.
So I just want to reaffirm that point that you said. When it's a hot day and you're sweating, you don't go to the fridge and you don't go to a glass of water and drink it directly.
Never.
You first wait and you calm down a little bit and then you have a sip. So because usually what happens is when you're so tired and when you're sweating, you take the bottle and at that point you can drink half a liter instantly. So that initial time is where you wait and you don't drink at that point.
Or you can do one thing, you just switch on to warm water, lukewarm water. That you will never like in your life.
To be very honest, Rajesh, I have tried warm water, frozen water, cold water, lukewater, and I can drink, and I actually can drink piping hot water right away from the kettle. It's because my mind wants water so badly that even hot water from the kettle, I can sip, sip, sip and finish a whole glass. So
No, you
I
don't
think,
have to.
correct. So,
Not
would
more
you say
than one
that
or two sips.
not more than 1 or 2 sips? That is what you do.
Yeah.
Okay. I have this question, Rajesh. This is from me specifically because I don't eat rice, dal. I don't eat foods that have fluid. I keep my water separately and I eat a lot of dry stuff. I am a non-vegetarian, so I am able to eat a lot of dry first-class protein. But with regards to you, do you eat rice and dal and vegetables? Do you eat foods that contain water? How do you keep a
Yes,
control of the water then? Does it affect
I
you?
do. I do eat foods that contain water. I eat dahi. I eat dal. I have
Okay.
two bowls of dal every time in every meal.
Okay. Oh, so you do it you control it with moderation. All right.
Yes, and I also have rice, say twice weekly or something like that.
Okay.
Twice or thrice
Okay.
weekly, as जैसे भी घर में बनता है,
Okay.
normally families में बनता है.
Okay.
And yes, I keep a strict restriction on my fluid. Otherwise, I don't drink water from a glass. I only have sips. I
Okay.
control my fluid in. I'll never take milk. I'll
Okay.
have tea, only half a cup of tea, say 50
Okay.
ml, 60 ml, max at max 100 ml.
Okay. Okay. So you have
Never,
smaller portions. You don't give yourself the chance to have a big portion. You have
never
smaller
have any
quantities.
juices. Say no to cold drinks.
So end of the day, I would say that you're very disciplined. Discipline is a very key factor for you.
No, I'm very
Which
spoiled.
I was going to ask you, Rajesh, you've been saying this one word, a dialysis at a good center. What do you mean by a good center?
Good center is a center. The most important point about a good center is the quality of RO.
Okay, all right, the RO quality.
RO water which is being used to dilate your blood, it should be of very good quality, ultra good quality.
Okay, okay, all right. That's a
And
good point. That's a good point for people who start dialysis because you do not know whether to go to a trust or to go to a center that charges a lot of money. So you're saying that we need to check, make sure that the quality of RO is good.
RO is good.
That's a very important factor.
Machines are the latest ones.
Okay.
You
Okay.
choose a good dialyzer as per the advice of your doctor.
Okay.
And the staff in the this dialysis center is maintaining all hygiene protocols.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They are wearing
Rajesh,
gloves.
yes. All
They
hygiene
are wearing
protocols.
gloves. They are doing all things to prevent
Infection,
yeah,
to prevent any infections happening to
counter
them or to the
infection.
correct.
Yeah.
Another very important question for us, Rajesh, is do you use your dialyzer one time or do you reuse it? How
No,
has that been over the years for you?
I've been using it only once since my in start of the journey. I've been
Okay.
using new always.
Okay. So this
You
I
can
think
use,
is a very important factor for all dialysis patients, because there's no chance of it being infected at all since you're using a new dialyzer and tubing every time.
yes.
This has always been the case, Rajesh. You have never reused your dialyzer and tubing.
No, never reuse dialyzer.
I think that is a very important point for people on dialysis because in certain centers they reuse it up to 10 times and 12 times, you know.
That is a point of cross contamination. The dialyzers are stored not in a very good conditions.
Correct. Okay. That I think that is a very important point for our users because especially me, I am on dialysis and I used to use it 3 times before. Then and now absolutely, and now that I've been using it since COVID, I've been using it only one time, and I see that my hemoglobin has not dropped. I take
Yes.
I take very less injections, probably once a month or twice a month. But for the first time in 6 years, it's been stable at 11.
Oh,
And it's
very
only
good.
because this is the first time that I'm at I'm using the dialyzer only once. So I think that is a very, very helpful point for all of us, for all
If
the
you are not
dialysis
using
patients.
even erythropoietin, your dialyzer cost is being reimbursed. Why go to a reused dialyzer and inject
Erythroprotein.
erythropoietin?
Correct. That correct. Very good. I mean, people understand what you're saying. Yes. Yes. Rajesh, certain people's blood pressure shoots up at the end of dialysis. Do you have issues like that?
No, I have never had these issues. Yes, my whenever my fluid is level is low on my body, so I had
Okay.
hypotensions many times. So I
Okay. It has
increased
dropped
my
drastically.
dry weight by half a kg.
Okay. So you have mostly faced hypotension, low blood
Yeah,
pressure rather than hypertension.
yeah. If you're having hypotensions with dialysis,
Hmm.
check your body fluid, check your dry
Okay.
weight
Okay. Okay.
or the medications you are having.
Hmm. Uh, Another question that I want to ask you from our users, Rajesh, is you said you were vegetarian. So how did you? Because I meet a lot of patients and I hear them talking about no, we are vegetarian, we can't eat egg, and I know because I eat between 8 and 10 eggs a day, so I know how important the egg whites are for the body. You know, so I know the importance of it. But how did you convince yourself to go from vegetarian to eggetarian? What was the change defining factor?
No, I've been always been an vegetarian, so there was no
Okay.
nothing like. Yes, but I
So
use many things like I have 5 almonds in a day in the morning.
okay.
Pre-soaked
Okay.
almonds. I have
Okay.
some walnuts, 2 walnuts,
Okay.
soaked walnuts. I can have 2 munakkas also.
Okay.
Fig.
Okay.
Sometimes I use amla. Some
All right.
sweetened amla. You can have amla candy. So in a
Okay.
moderation,
Okay.
2-3 pieces,
I got it. I
not
got it.
one whole amla, which is very high on potassium. We should not take one whole
Mm-hmm.
amla. Say half of it, or
Mm-hmm.
if your potassium is under control.
Correct. Okay. I was going to ask you, Rajesh, do you have a fitness regime? It's been 25 years on dialysis. Do you do anything in particular? I know now that you're very disciplined. You eat food in moderation. You don't overdo anything. But how is your fitness regime? How was your exercise? Can
On
you tell us
dialysis
what you do
days,
in that department?
on dialysis days, I don't have any fitness regime. Yes, I
Okay.
go for walks, morning walks and all when I'm not going to dialysis. That is all
Okay.
what I'm
Okay.
doing.
But that's still good. I mean, that's the cardiovascular is very, very important. And
Yeah,
I'm sure that is also helping regulate your blood pressure and your sugars, you know. So,
yeah,
so do you end up going for a walk 3 times a week at least?
yes.
Okay. What is your hemoglobin stable at, Rajesh? What levels does your
Between
hemoglobin stabilize at?
10 to 11,
Okay.
and I'm having darbepoetin every 15 days.
Oh, that's amazing.
Darbepoetin,
Twice a month. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, Rajesh, for people who are on dialysis, how many times do you test yourself? Do you test it once a month, once in 2 months? When do you do your blood reports?
Once in 2 months.
So you do it once in 2 months. Okay.
Yeah.
In our center they test once every month. Okay.
Yeah, once in, if you're doing every month, it's good.
Okay.
You are at like at on hands with your parameters.
Okay. At Rajesh, at dialysis, I see a lot of patients. Sometimes they're on the wheelchair. Sometimes they get low blood pressure. How do you drive back? Does that never happen to you? Has it never happened to you in all these years?
No, by God's grace, no. That should.
That's amazing. For all the people who are listening out there, Rajesh drives to dialysis and he drives back. That is fantastic. I know I've seen people personally who need help. Another question I'd like to ask you is uh, your family support, your emotional support. Do you go alone for dialysis, Rajesh, or does somebody come with you?
Yeah, I go to dialysis alone. Yes, sometimes my wife comes along with me.
Okay, that's lovely.
But yes, initially when we started dialysis 25 years back, my brothers never left me alone. For 10 years, they were with me on
Okay,
every
that's amazing.
dialysis. My
That's
brothers, they
amazing
were
because when
with
you
me.
have people next to you, you never know how the 4 hours pass. When you have someone to talk to, the time just passes by.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it was a very good support.
Another important question that I'm sure you've been asked a lot: are you not considering another transplant?
No, I don't have a legal kidney donor.
Okay. So if you did have a donor, you would consider a transplant?
Yes.
Can you please shed some light on that, Rajesh? I'll tell you why. Because I did a transplant and mine failed. I actually don't want to do another transplant, because I feel that on dialysis I can eat everything. I only have to control my fluid intake. Whereas you just said that you would like to do another transplant. So can you just tell me what is your thought process? Why are you keen on another transplant?
See, Ellie, the quality of life on the transplant is better than dialysis. You don't have to go to dialysis center every alternate day.
Correct.
You are
Correct.
at your home, you are at your office. Okay, there are
Correct.
some restrictions, I agree,
Correct.
but the technology in terms of medicines
Hmm.
is much better now. The
Okay.
time I had my transplant in 1997, the
Okay.
medicines available were not that good.
Okay. Okay.
I have to import Celcept or say
Correct.
smuggle Celcept from Nepal.
Correct. Correct.
Now
Correct.
Celcept is available,
Correct. Correct.
mycophenolate, that is
Yes.
available readily in India.
Correct.
And there are other many medicines which can prolong the life of your graft kidney.
Okay.
So technology and medicines are better now, and the chances of your kidney survival of your graft kidney is better.
All right. Okay.
If
So
I
to, so
had
to
a
some
kidney,
sorry, you were saying if you had a
if,
kidney.
if I had a legal kidney, I would have gone for it.
All right. All right. That's amazing. Good to know that you would love to do another transplant. Okay, I'm going to ask you a very interesting question. How much have you traveled on dialysis, Rajesh? Do you go for holidays? How do you handle
Yes,
that?
I've gone to holidays a lot. I've gone to river rafting even thrice or four times. River rafting on dialysis. I've gone to Dubai. I've gone to Bangkok. But yes, wherever I
Fantastic.
go,
That is the most. This is the best part of this conversation with you is travel dialysis. So tell us more. You've been to Dubai. You've been to
yes,
Bangkok.
whenever I go anywhere on holidays,
Okay.
the first thing is I book my dialysis slot from here only, from Delhi only.
Okay.
When I
Okay.
went to Dubai, I got a dialysis
Hmm.
done. I went to Bangkok, I
Hmm.
got two dialysis done. When I go to Dehradun,
Okay.
Rishikesh, I get a dialysis done
Hmm.
at earlier at this some charity hospital. Now in Dehradun there is a Max hospital. We can get it done there,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I've got like enjoyed adventure sports like river rafting, and I've jumped into Ganga or into
So
the river.
can I tell you the best part of this interview is that I learned from you that I can go to Rishikesh because I've been to Dubai, I've been to Thailand as well and done dialysis there. But
Yeah.
the fact that you've done it in Rishikesh, my next holiday is going to be Rishikesh.
Yes.
My job, I have got my answer for this interview. That's fantastic. So but I want to tell the users, nobody has seen your video. You
Okay.
self cannulate, which is you insert your needles yourself.
Yeah.
So even when you go to to the destinations in Dubai and Thailand, you inserted it yourself?
Yes, I made sure I'll insert it myself because I don't know the background of the staff there.
Correct.
So I can do my cannulation, and I
Correct.
make it a point that I'll cannulate myself because I have confidence on myself.
Correct. Correct.
Wherever, even in my center in Delhi, when the staff is not like say the staff is on holiday,
Hmm.
I cannulate it myself.
No, that is amazing. What you do is amazing. I think you're one of the rare few in India who self-cannulate, and that is the fear that I have when I go to new centers in Goa, and
Yeah.
that whether because honestly the quality of technicians is not good everywhere, and in a lot of places they let the juniors pierce. So one
You've been to Apollo in Goa or
yes
some
yes
other center?
Apollo in Goa, yes, Apollo
I've
in
been
Goa.
to that place also.
Yes. So I want the users to know that Rajesh self-cannulates. He inserts his needles into his own arm, which is why the risk of the needle going in and out is a lot lesser. So that's why. However, it's amazing that he still travels with dialysis. So people are very scared that I will not be able to travel. But you're a living example of you've been to Rishikesh, Dubai, Goa, and you keep traveling while on dialysis. It hasn't restricted you from
Yes.
doing anything.
Yes. The only thing is you take an appointment of dialysis there, go wherever you want. Dialysis is available everywhere.
Correct. That's lovely. Okay. Rajesh, I have another question for you. There's a lot of people, a lot of different opinions with regards to eating during dialysis, eating pre-dialysis, or eating post-dialysis. I've heard a lot of doctors say that after a good dialysis, you feel very, very hungry. And it happens to me, but I eat my first class protein during dialysis. What is your habit? What do you do? Do you eat before? Do you eat during? What are your eating habits?
No, I eat normally. I eat one meal during dialysis
Okay.
because my sugar levels were say around 80, between 80 and 90
Okay.
fasting. So I
Okay.
make it a point. I take some sweet something like I take
Correct.
bread jam
Okay. Bread and
from my
jam. All
home.
right. Okay.
So whenever my sugar levels are say around 80, I
Mm-hmm.
have one bread jam.
Okay.
Rather taking a shot of dextrose,
Correct.
I take a bread jam and eat it.
Mm.
So the
Okay.
sugars are adjusted.
So that's what you eat during dialysis. And when you go home, do you eat anything at that point as well? After you finish
No,
dialysis?
lunch at lunchtime only.
Okay. All right. Rajesh, if you could tell us what was the cost of dialysis in Dubai? To the best of my knowledge, it was 18,000 per session. Was it around that much?
Yeah, cost of dialysis in Dubai was in 2001, 2000
Okay.
around 13,000.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's good to know for everybody because I went 2 years ago to Thailand and it was 13,500 in Thailand, but in a great hospital, in a fantastic hospital.
The name
And
of the hospital was International something.
yes. Phuket, it was Bangkok International. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
But the dialysis quality was fantastic. I mean, the staff
Yeah,
was
very good.
amazing. Very good. Very good. I think, Rajesh, I think we have covered almost all the aspects that I was looking at. If I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for any questions, if anybody has for you.
One thing I would like to suggest is there is two words, cure and healing.
Okay.
When a doctor comes to know or you come to know that you are on CKD, the immediate cure is either a transplant or dialysis. But people don't think about healing. Healing is your counseling, your support from your family, and your mental health, which is
Okay.
very, very important. You need to know about dialysis. You need to, like, when you are well counseled and well aware of the things around you on dialysis
Correct.
or on CKD, which are the best options for you? Is a transplant good option for you, or you are doing a satisfied life on dialysis? So healing is one thing which is very important, like counseling of your to be in true sense, like you're a well-aware man.
To be aware of what is happening.
Yes. So healing is one thing which is very important. Or counseling, you can say it.
So you would suggest that people who are starting dialysis should go for a little counseling because their life is going to change in a certain way,
Yes.
to be able to accept what's coming their way.
They should talk to their doctors. Doctors
Okay.
are the only guides, okay, on
Okay.
eating. What diet should I take? How should I manage? What fluid intake should I take? Which is the best thing? What is the best options? Transplant or dialysis? Talk to your doctor. Don't hesitate.
Correct.
Be after their life.
Correct. Because eventually they have a lot of the answers that we want.
They are the best judges for your life.
Correct. Marianne, am I going to introduce you now?
No, Ari, it's just a privilege to share this space. And since we had some time, I wanted to understand, since you've been on the journey of dialysis, what do you think you have not done, or rather, Mr. Rajesh has done, that most dialysis patients don't do?
I think one of the key factors that I've learned from Rajesh is people reuse their dialyzers. And, I think that is very, very important because they wash the dialyzers with chemicals. And when you start your session the next time, some amount of that chemical is going into your bloodstream. And over a period of time, that does cause an infection. So like Rajesh said, he's never reused his dialyzer ever, which is his risk of infection is almost zero, So I started it only now in the last 1.5 years, although there's a huge difference in the financial aspect, but it's better to do that than go to hospital once or twice a year, right? So I would say that is the most important lesson that I've learned from Rajesh, the not to reuse the dialyzer. But then again, people do have financial constraints, it's really expensive as well. So yeah, that. Apart from that, like Rajesh mentioned, high protein diet is very, very important. And I think from what I've learned of what he's spoken, he's very disciplined to a certain extent. The fact that he said that he doesn't drink water when he comes home. When you're sweating and you're tired and you want to just pick up a bottle and drink, he waits. He waits for 5 minutes and then he has 2 sips. That's discipline. It's nothing apart from discipline. So I think that is very, very key. The fact that he's been on dialysis 25 years, that is a very, very key aspect. Discipline.
Thank you, Ali. And just to sum up what I felt, because since we interview a lot of dialysis patients who've been on dialysis for long term and short term, people who've had a smooth journey on dialysis and people who found dialysis very, very difficult. One thing that I took away from this interview was, first is we keep talking so much on this topic, acceptance of the journey.
Absolutely.
Acceptance of the journey, of understanding this is the journey I am and I'm going to keep living my life and not let anything stop me. Number 2, taking responsibility of your own journey. Because in most patients, I feel patients think that you need your caregivers, you need your support system to support you. So right from his injection into his arm to going to and showing up there is that mental attitude that I am not the weak one. I am not on a bad journey. This is a journey I've chosen and I'm okay with this journey that I've chosen. I'm going to continue living my life to the fullest. And that talks about a lot about the mental attitude. The third thing that I also noticed from what Sir was telling us is, well, you use the word discipline. I think I'll use the word intelligence and understanding your own body. Because a lot of things that dialysis patients get into is digging too deep into everything. Everything we do. Okay, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do this. If you stick and understand with your own body, you'll understand the appropriate amounts of things that you could eat. I think the 10 minutes of sitting down is giving yourself time to actually understand how much of water you want to drink.
Correct.
Not, okay, this is what I'm thirsty, this is how much I'm thirsty, and letting the mind do its work and then understanding what the body needs. So when you start understanding your body, you know how you can help the body. But rather, most dialysis patients think, oh, I'm already the sick one. This is all that I cannot do. We don't look at all the things that we can do. We can live normal lives.
Yes.
So I think taking responsibility, having that mental attitude and awareness of what you should be doing. And For a person who had a failed kidney, came back and just living happily on dialysis with complete clarity, which I
Yes,
think most dialysis patients live in uncertainty.
correct.
What does life hold for me? I do not have anyone to support me. Living
Right.
from a place of lack, that I don't have all this, to living from a place of excellence, I have all this and I'm responsible for this journey, is a total different mindset, which I think was, it's a very small mind shift, but it
Correct.
makes huge difference on that journey of dialysis.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
that's what I kind of felt amazed by, because just to, for those users who are not on this, I mean, obviously you did not hear this little conversation we had before going live. Mr. Rajesh told us, you see, I don't do anything different.
Yeah.
I'm not anybody special. I just I live a normal life. So that is the mantra of living a
Correct.
normal life, not thinking you're the weaker one. You know?
Correct.
And
Correct.
and after hearing him talk, I think that's what that mental attitude is just brilliant, and God bless you for that. And I hope all our dialysis patients can take that little out of that mental attitude to stay strong, stay fit, and not think that they are the weaker ones at any point of time.
Absolutely. And I want to personally thank Rajesh, because my next holiday is Rishikesh. So
Thank you
yeah,
very much. Best wishes
thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you so much for sharing all the information with us.
Thank you.
Have
And
a
for
good
all
day.
on dialysis, I would just like to ask on behalf of the entire community, if people want to reach out to you and ask you for any kind of guideline,
Help and support. Yeah.
very clearly saying that you don't have any secret mantra, but just the fears of having these secret, let's do this, let's do this. Will you be able to help our patients if they reach out to you, sir?
Yeah, I would rather suggest don't think too much about your CKD. Think about
Correct.
your life. I have a wife, I have children, I have responsibilities. Indulge in that only. Don't
Amazing.
indulge in CKD. Okay,
Correct.
CKD is given by God. He will
Correct.
manage. Leave it to him.
Well said.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Before we log off this call, as per our regular protocols, we have to understand every individual is different. Every person's body is very different. So what we heard on this particular episode presented by Ali and Mr. Rajesh is his own journey. Based on this, we're going to request you not to take any inputs and imply it on yourself without discussing the same, the physically examined doctor.
Your doctor and dietitian.
Yes. Please do not take it for granted and try to think, okay, this might work for me, because what works for one person does not work for the other. But you can definitely get inspired points and take it forward and discuss to see how you can make your journey on dialysis a celebration of life.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.